feisty first.
In this painting, I was thinking in terms of combining candy.
I will if you make it first.
My name is Gary Gatos, manager of the Florissant Civic Center Theater.
Hi, welcome to another edition of On Cue. My name's Gary Gatos, manager of your Florissant Civic Center Theater. We take time out once a month to come into the studio and go backstage. We're going to take a peek behind the scenes and see what's coming down the road. Something you may not be familiar with but may need to know about is an upcoming production. It's going to be an exciting one presented by the Alpha Players, the Cemetery Club. Of all things, who knew there was a club at the cemetery? We have with us two great actresses, I guess, at times, and directors and technical people. They actually are masters of many, many talents because they are long-term members of the Alpha Players. We have Therese Melnikoff, the director of the show that's coming up, and Barb Lang, one of the stars from the production, with us in the studio today. Ladies, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having us, Gary.
Yeah.
Barb, you don't predate me at the theater, but
No.
You're close.
Yeah, I've been there a long time.
A long time. You were first with the Hawthorne Players for many
That's
years.
correct.
Yeah.
For
And one of the
several years.
officers, I remember,
Yes.
kept the group going in lean times.
Yes.
Had fun doing it,
Yes, I did.
and then split.
Yeah, for a long time I took a break and then remarried and stuff and got back into it with Alpha when they started doing Fiddler. I think that was 2005.
It's wonderful to have you back.
Thank you.
So
Good to be
have you
back.
been with us 30 years now, all told? Maybe?
35 in Florissant. But
There you go, 35 in Florissant. So you really, this is my 35th year working here. So
Okay.
there you go. We're neck and neck.
That's right.
We'll see who wins this one. The women can live longer, so I think you've got the better shot at it. And Therese, how long have you been with us?
This will be my 9th season with the Alpha
Wonderful.
Players.
Wonderful.
I can't believe it's been that long.
Oh, it's a great life if you don't tire.
Right.
How many directorial tasks have you taken on?
This will be my 4th.
Wonderful. And what was your favorite one to date? Predating this one, of course.
Oh.
Tough to say.
Well, Murder to Death, the last one, I had a really wonderful cast. Everybody in the cast was my friend, so we had a really great time doing it.
Good.
So that was a lot of fun, but I think my favorite show that I did was Arsenic and Old Lace, which was about
Oh,
2
that's a
years
great
ago, I
show. Yeah.
think.
And I was in that one.
And Barb was in
That's
it.
right.
She played one of the aunties.
It
and she
seems
was
like
wonderful.
yesterday only. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Cemetery Club, not often done.
I don't know why, because it's a really wonderful show.
Funny show.
It's hilarious. It's not morbid as Cemetery Club might suggest,
There
but
you go.
it's a lighthearted, it's one of those heartfelt, feel-good kind of comedies. So there's touching moments, but then there's really funny moments too. So
And the premise is we're going to meet there. Is that right, at the
yes,
cemetery?
It's about 3 Jewish widows who go to the cemetery every month to visit their husbands' graves, and the show is about their different stages of moving on, how they relate to each other in different stages of moving on.
And there's a romantic interest.
There is.
Oh, dangerous at this age. I can say that now since I'm firmly entrenched.
One of the ladies starts dating a widower, also a Jewish widower, and her friends aren't too terribly keen about that.
The
So
second
they
time
kinda
around is
meddle a
rough.
little,
Yeah,
yeah.
no question about it. Under the best of circumstances. The plot proceeds and the last roll on from there.
Hilarity ensues, as they would say.
That's right. And Barb, your character is
Doris. I'm the steadfast and true member. I love only my dead husband and will not move on anywhere beyond that. So
you're
kind
going to
of-
be the conservative of the bunch.
you got it.
Right.
But I have a mouth.
You're not the straight lady in this one. Huh?
No.
I don't think there really is a straight line
No.
in this one.
And we're going to have some great people joining you on stage. Some of the characters we'll remember from other shows or newcomers. How does that run?
You'll see George Lewandowski, who's done quite a bit with the Alpha Players. I think this might be his 15th show.
Yeah, he
somewhere in
claims
there.
to be cast in almost every show that we do. He's a guy, so
Explains it.
Guys, take a tip from that audition. You might be him.
But a very talented guy,
guy,
so
right.
and we love George, so he is our gentleman. But we'll also see some. Oh, Kathy Breeden-Ketter. She was with Alphas before my time, so I hadn't heard of her, but she's
15 years ago she worked with Alpha, and
Right.
then was on a hiatus, and then came back for
neat.
this show. So we're
Right.
glad to have her back.
Exactly, it's good to have her back. And then we have newcomers to the Alpha Players, Linda Levy-Clark, who has done a lot of theater throughout the St. Louis area. I know she's done some stuff for First Run and Clayton Community Theater. And then Kathy Egenreither, and she's wonderful. She's doing a great job in her part.
Well, that's neat. And you've got a good interior set for this? You have your regular designer doing it?
Me? Yes.
Well, there you go.
Right.
No, they do a great execution. The show's terribly professional. You guys have come so far.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
over the
We
years.
take pride in that.
I think we do too.
You really complement the changes we made with the scene shop and things like that. Barb, you were there in the old days.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You gotta admit.
When all that back part wasn't there,
No.
and you had to do all your set build in your warehouse or wherever,
Driveways,
basements, and then you had to cart it all over, and then paint, and that was pretty rough.
I make the joke, but I think it's somewhat true. We were the cause of probably several divorces over,
Well, not mine, but yeah.
Oh, no, over basements and driveways and things like that, or at least tumult
Yeah.
I see.
back in the home front. So yeah, things have gotten better, and really you complement, I think, the investment of the taxpayers, quite honestly, with
Well,
the
thank you.
high level of expertise that you're bringing to the costumes. Or what period are we set in here?
It's modern. It's
Okay.
very
Present,
modern.
yeah.
It's present. So,
So it's-
nothing period, nothing unusual.
It's fast moving, lots of fun.
I would say so.
You want to get out? This is the time to do it in the doldrums of winter.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got it.
Let's have a good laugh together. Give us some information on how to get there. That's probably the most important thing right now. We need to know dates and times and prices.
The show opens on March 7th, runs the 7th and the 8th, then the 14th and 15th at 8 p.m. And then we have a matinee on the 16th, on March 16th at 2 p.m.
That's Sunday, yeah.
Yes.
The matinee is always well sold, so get your reservations early. Call us at 921-5678. We have a recording on 24 hours a day. It will also direct you to our website. Those of you who are web savvy, www.florissantmo.com. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you get the itch, you can buy these tickets by going online. Click on the theater icon and click on Buy Tickets online. Right there, you'll see it on the side of the page on the right side. And for a modest service charge, I have to admit, of all the theaters I've ever been to, for $1.50 a ticket, $1.50 a transaction, nobody does it cheaper than we do.
That's not bad.
You want to avoid those service charges, call us during regular business hours. We're there 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, depending on what day of the week it is. It's just easy to buy those tickets and get there in advance. Any challenges of this show unique to the Alpha Players' history, or
I don't
your?
think there's anything that we haven't tackled before. It's
Great.
just having to do it again and apply it to a different time frame and different actors. So
Yeah.
not anything too terribly unusual, I
No,
think.
I think
Is directing your favorite job in the production?
I think she likes being on stage.
I do.
Oh, okay.
I have to go back and forth, and it's been a while since I've been in anything that I had a bunch of lines in a significant role
Yeah.
in, so I'm kind of itching to get back to that. But I really enjoy directing, especially a good show like this one that I can really get behind the script and really.
How did you bump
work on
into
it.
the Alphas? Did you grow up in North County?
I did. I grew up in Florissant. I grew up in it's unincorporated North St. Louis County, but I think now it's Florissant. It got taken over.
Annexed.
Annexed.
We love that word.
Yeah.
There we go. Annexed.
Welcome, annexees.
So I grew up around here, right behind like Brown School and Hazelwood Central. That's the neighborhood that
The
I'm
famous
from.
high school question.
Yes.
Hazelwood Central?
No, I went to Rosati Kane,
Oh,
actually.
good. Rosati Kane girl. Very good.
Yep. RK, all the
Yeah,
way.
well done. Barb, you want to get out and have a good time? The Alpha Players are always looking for volunteers.
This is
Yeah.
true.
We have open auditions. They're in our calendar of events. All you got to do is call the office, 921-5678, and say, I need to be on that mailing list. And eventually, you can volunteer for the Alpha Players. You also have a website, right?
Yes,
do.
www.alphaplayers.org.
Wonderful.
And we just revamped it, so it ought to be easy to get around on it.
Very good. These two represent over 45 years probably of participation. You'll see the joy on their faces on stage. Make it to the Cemetery Club coming up in the month of March. Be there or be square. Ladies, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
And for your
Thanks,
volunteerism.
Gary. We enjoyed it.
Couldn't do it without you. Hey, we got some other fun things coming up. We're going to talk to some McClure High School people who are going to be on stage with Chicago in just a few minutes. And our calendar of events is going to be sandwiched in between. Stick with us, will you? We got a packed show for you today. We got a great guest coming into the studio as well from the Ferguson-Florissant School District. It's our friend Doug Irwin. Doug, welcome back.
Good seeing you, Gary.
You've been here under other monikers before, and you have a new title this time.
I do.
Which is nice and long. Could you help me out with it, Doug?
I am the K-12 Fine Arts Content Leader for the Ferguson-Florissant School District, and I still kept my position as Director of Theater for McClure.
Well, I tell you what, local boy makes good. You've risen through the ranks here, and that's pretty much the top job in the arts here in the Ferguson-Florissant.
I supervise the arts in all 23 of our schools.
Congratulations. What a wonderful thing to do. To keep them alive is really the mantra nowadays, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I know that cuts are all over the place, and you've done a yeoman's job of keeping them alive, and not only alive, but attracting money from the outside for these productions.
It's one of the ways that actually our district really succeeds. We've had more students accepted to Missouri Fine Arts Academy, which are to the top 200 artists in the state for the last 2 years. The district has had 13 in every arts area. The most any other district has had is 6.
That's wonderful.
So,
I know A&E blesses your work here at our
Absolutely,
stage
we're
as
very
well.
grateful.
You've received for the third time now a grant from them. Could you explain how that works a little bit?
The Arts and Education Council, the Merits organization with Rent-A-Car, works through them, and they do a grant for teachers to support artistic processes. So each year we've applied, and this year we were fortunate enough for the third time to receive a $5,000 grant for our work on the show. And in our case, it's paying for buses to get the kids from McClure to here, some food during Tech Week, costumes, scenery, a lot of wigs because the show's set in the 1920s, so we're having to wig everybody in the cast, so a lot of those miscellaneous expenses.
And I know Dream Girls was the last one that got it. You got a really
Absolutely.
nice write-up in their newsletter, too.
We did. It was fantastic.
Picture of you and the kids, pretty much the kids predominantly in the front, but that's so great that you're drawing, I guess, citywide attention to the wonderful things Ferguson-Florissant does in the arts.
The Arts and Education Council was really wonderful to us. They actually paid for the entire cast. They arranged it with the Muni. The Muni comped tickets for the cast to go see Dreamgirls when it was performed there. They did a reception with them to meet Jennifer Holliday before the show. They gave us a signed poster, and I was blown away. They actually gave us primo seats, but the kids got to meet the cast, and they invited them to sing a number from the show on stage. So it's fantastic.
You've got some Cappies going on, too. You've
do.
won awards in the past. I know you kind of walk away with them sometimes, isn't that right?
Well, some years. Dreamgirls was a nominee for Best Show for the St. Louis area. Cappies is Critic Awards program. It started out in Washington, D.C., and what it is it's a group of students who are trained to review theater, and then they go to other schools. So each school's team is required to go to 3 other schools to see their shows, and if they want to vote at the end for our version of the Tony Awards, they have to go to 5. The reviews are adjudicated, so the best written review actually gets published in the Post. The second best goes in the Journal. The Beacon in Florissant actually publishes one of them, and so the kids have a chance to actually critique theater, which is fantastic.
That's great.
So they're seeing that, but they're actually judged by their peers, which are their toughest peers, and their toughest audiences. Lindenwood University has actually really helped support it. So if a student is nominated for a Cappy Award, they receive a $1,000 scholarship to Lindenwood. Wow. If they win, it's $3,500, and they are stackable throughout their high school career. Dreamgirls earned $255,000 in college scholarships because the show was nominated. They won Best Song. So this year they'll be reviewed also, and we're very hopeful for it.
Now, I want to remind taxpayers, this is all below the surface. This guy doesn't go about bragging about this stuff. You really have to read the paper, and you have to know what's going on. But it's a wonderful thing you're doing to keep, there are so many schools giving up on the arts. I know you've seen it across even our area here. You also work hard to keep the music programs alive. I understand that they're in jeopardy nowadays too.
Well, one of the things that's been fantastic is the fact that the district supports elementary music, especially elementary instrumental music. We actually just found out we have over 1,400 students who take violin or band in the elementary school, and that's why we have orchestras and bands that are able to get students into all-state.
And really, having a live pit orchestra is such a benefit because when you get to the real world of the arts, you know, you're giving them an experience that many don't have. You know, that's a foot in the door.
Last year, we have a new band teacher. We actually had 2 students play in the pit for rent, so it was fantastic. They were on stage, and in the show this year, the band will actually be on stage.
You know, you grew up here and actually participated in our community theater groups, became a leader there, and then marched on to education. When did you start? Which started first, the arts or the education part?
Actually, the education part.
Yeah.
I hate to admit how old I am, but this is my, I think, 23rd year teaching.
Okay.
I actually started out in Troy, Missouri, and then moved to Riverview Gardens. Is
that right?
I missed North County. And I was at Riverview Gardens for 8 years before I came here.
Yeah.
So.
It's a great place to raise a family, as you're finding out, I hear.
Yes.
Congratulations on the young boys. How many you got now?
3 under the age of 5. So
It's great. You know, you're going to keep the school district alive, and you're going to populate it if you keep this up. This is wonderful news. Hey, the other thing is you picked a challenging musical this time. This is no kidding around. Kander and Ebb's great hit, Chicago.
Yeah, actually there's a nice little story behind that.
Okay.
We are the only high school in the United States who was given the rights to perform that this year.
Holy man.
There's a waiting list to perform Chicago. I've been trying to get the rights for 7 years. Last year we were given the rights, and because we compete in Cappies, MICDS also was given the rights. And they were due to perform 2 weeks before we were. So we decided we didn't want to put the same show head-to-head, reflect that. We're going to have 2 giant newspapers that actually have the actual headlines that were put in the Chicago papers during the day. But all of those women were actually put on trial. Roxy and Velma really did go on to do vaudeville afterwards. It is a true story. And actually, Gwen Verdon read about it in a book and talked to her husband, Bob Fosse, and said, hey, do you think this would be a good musical? And they adapted it. And actually the revival that starred Bebe Neuwirth and Anne Reinking is actually longer running than the original version.
Isn't that great?
From the 70s.
It went from here, it went to London, it's gone everywhere, it's infectious. If you see it, you'll know why. It really is a great piece. One of the things I know, it takes a lot of people to pull this off. How many people altogether? Well, what kind of manpower?
Oh boy,
Just to ask
adults or students? Because that's
well, you know,
if we went through the adults, so let's see. There's myself. Erica Peggs is our director of tech theater. We're very fortunate. We actually have an African American female tech theater major who's one of our teaching staff members. She's fantastic. So she's working on the scenery, and her mother, who is a seamstress, is helping with costumes. Then Chelsea Ayers, who's our new choir director, is doing vocals along with Karen Coletti, who's a retired orchestra teacher from the district, so she's helping accompany. Tyler Moore, who's our orchestral director, is actually supervising the pit. Mary McEntee, who's an alumni who graduated the very first year, is our choreographer. This is the first year she's doing all the choreography herself. She's very excited, and she actually performed in Chicago about 10 years ago. I'm trying to think if I missed any. And Holly Burns, the theater teacher at McClure South Berkeley, is also helping with props and costumes.
Well, you've had a strong program there for years. I know that's still probably your only real classroom activity because you go to all the schools now, right?
I actually teach 4 classes still. So I've got 3 sections of intro to theater and then an advanced acting class.
Well, that's great that you stuck with speech and drama there and are helping everybody back at home because that's really kind of how you grew up in the district. You fell in love with McClure, huh?
Yep.
That's great news for all of us. I hope you continue there for a long time. We're going to talk to some of the members of the cast in just a few minutes.
Great.
That must be a tough job casting up where you guys are. You got a lot of talent.
We
there.
do. We have an awful lot of talent. So
if they stick with the program, how many times can they expect if they go to high school? How many times can they expect to hit the stage there? If they're lucky?
we do a musical every year, and then we do at least 2 shows. So at least 2 straight plays.
So there's a good chance that if you're bit by the theater bug and you're in the district, you can wind up at McClure. You're going to have a wonderful education, and obviously a lot of college scholarships go through the hands of these talented people up there. We got to run to the next segment now. Doug, it's great having you back.
Thanks.
Don't be so long away, okay? You do a great hit here every year, and it's fun, and we're going to talk about ticket prices and how you can get there. But let's take a break and restage so we can talk to some of the members of the cast of Chicago. Great musical comedy coming up.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Doug Irwin, and I am the director of theater at McClure High School, and I'm serving as a guest host to tell you a little bit more about our production of Chicago. I brought with me 3 of our stellar cast members, and I'd like to let them introduce themselves and tell you what roles they're playing.
Hi, Akila Jackson. I play Miss Velma Kelly.
Got Sam West here. I play Mr. Billy Flynn.
And I'm Destiny Speech, and I play Roxy Hart.
Okay, so we've been working on the show now since a little bit before Christmas. What's your favorite part of the show right now?
Well, my favorite part is when Roxy and Velma meet
Why?
because I like having that little attitude like, hey, move.
Okay. Sam, how about you?
I definitely have to say I favor Cell Block Tango. If anything, just for the fact that like it's a bunch of like really attractive girls, like all just talking about how they like
Okay.
killed their husband.
There we go. Destiny, how
I
about
just
you?
want to see people dance.
Actually, my favorite part is Roxy, my Roxy monologue. It shows like how like crazy I am. Like I'm really crazy.
Okay. What are your plans for after graduation?
Well, I've been accepted to Murray State in Kentucky, and I got my acceptance letter from Xavier in New Orleans this weekend. So, yeah.
What are you planning on doing there?
I'm planning on majoring in secondary vocal music education and performing arts, just because if I don't make it as a professional musician, I need to find something that I actually enjoy doing. So I can't deal with munchkins. I'll
Okay.
teach high schoolers.
Me definitely. If it's not gonna do with music or theater, I really, it's just not gonna be fulfilling for me. So I definitely plan to. There's a school downtown called Nelly's Extreme Institute. Basically, go there for a degree in recording and studio production, things like that, and hopefully, use that to go on farther in the music industry, and maybe hopefully do some, on stage stuff.
Okay.
So I want to major in musical theater and minor in entrepreneurship business. I want to go to DePaul University in Chicago.
So you've all done shows before, right? How would you say this experience compares with the shows you've done in the past?
Well, this is my first musical, so
How's
it's the
that
first time I've
different
had to belt it out during rehearsal while dancing some stuff I don't really do often. So it's fun, but it's a little different because,
Okay.
yeah.
Samuel?
This being my second musical, I would definitely say it's really different from the first. I did Little Shop of Horrors, but like that one was mostly just like a lot of like music.
And you did that at McClure South Berkeley,
Yeah, that was
correct?
at McClure South. Here, it's actually doing Chicago, which is such a well-known, like it's really intricate piece of production. But I know it's a lot to take in. Definitely a lot to take in, a lot of hard work to be done.
And for me, coming from doing Dreamgirls as a freshman, and then throughout my years, and now doing Chicago, like the people are very different. It's kind of hard working with the newbies, and I know I was a newbie once, but like it's really hard. But being able to encourage them and work with them is like really great, because I can encourage.
What's the difference for you? I mean, I know in Dreamgirls you had a role in the ensemble, you were very active, you still got to sing a solo. You had a very large featured solo in Rent, but
Yes.
this show, the weight's kind of on the three of you. How does
Yes.
what's the difference for that?
Well, with me being a lead character, like I don't get to be backstage like most of the time. Like all the lights are on me, and it's like really different. But I'm like very excited, very excited.
Kayla, the other two shows you were in were very ensemble-oriented shows too.
Yeah, but,
What's the difference for you?
Well, I think the first one, I was the lead in my first,
So you did
the first
Five on
play.
the Black Hand Side,
Yeah, I
which
was the lead
our
in that one.
student-directed show.
and I was like, yay! It was still, we had a lot of time backstage. A couple times we missed our cues, but that happens. So, and the last one, Almost Maine, was really fun, but I did spend most of my time backstage. Just because I only had one scene.
And also with the structure, right?
Yeah, and I tried to help out a little backstage, but I could only do so much. So this time I was like, I can't do anything back there. You got to do it. I got to be up here and belt this out and try not to crack while I'm dancing, because the struggle is real.
How's the choreography been for you in this show? This is definitely a dancer show, not a singer
Okay,
show,
so the
right?
first thing me and Destiny learned was Hot Honey Rag, and I get tired when I think about it.
Where does Hot Honey Rag occur in the show? Talk to us about that.
It's at the end. It's like me and
So
Roxy's.
it's a duet dance.
It's me and
just the
Roxy's
two of you,
vaudeville
right?
thing, and we're like, yeah!
It's like really
Nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got tired when Miss Mary was teaching it, and I was like, okay, I can do it. It's gonna take me a minute.
Yeah. The
So-
choreography is like really, it's not like super complicated, but there's so much going on.
And it's back to back to
And,
back. You
like,
know, give me a
with-
second.
I get lifted a lot. like I get lifted a lot, and like I used to be scared of heights, but I guess I got to get over it now. So like it's great, but it's very tiring and it's amazing.
Now your characters have some interesting work. The ensemble's on stage pretty much the whole show. Unlike any of the other shows you guys have been in, everyone is pretty much on stage the entire show, including the orchestra. But you guys are paired in some very interesting ways. Can you talk a little bit about that? I know, for example, most of your numbers are only with the boys, yours are with the girls, you're kind of with everybody. How's that working experience? What is the challenge for you there?
Well, with me, my character, she's a schemer. She loves men. She loves the boys. That's her thing. Like she manipulates and does anything to get her way, and all she thinks about is boys and money.
And herself. You
And
have a whole
of
song
course.
dedicated to your name.
Roxy Hart.
I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to think about it. I think the most difficult for me so far is during Cell Block Tango when I'm doing my monologue. I have to say what I'm saying exactly right so everyone else knows when to stop. But if I don't say it loud enough, or if I say it wrong, then everyone gets confused and then we have to start over. It's like, my bad, I didn't count that correctly.
Definitely the most difficult part for my character is the fact that it is exactly completely opposite from me in real life. I mean, Billy Flynn is this just egotistical, womanizing jerk, and the only thing he loves more than women is money. So just getting into the feel of like, if you like, pretty much like if you don't have, yeah, unless you have $5,000 or like long hair and nice legs, like I don't care about you. And just I don't know, just kind of like having to work that out of myself and just be that person.
So if people want to see the show, how do they get tickets? What are the times? How do we order tickets?
Well, you can buy tickets in advance, like they're on sale now.
Online.
And there's 6 in advance, 8 at the door, but
And what are the show dates and times?
If you buy them in
The
advance.
show dates are February 19th and through the 22nd at 7.
So that's a Wednesday through Saturday night, 7 p.m.
At the James J. Egan Center.
James J. Egan Center, yes. And they can order tickets online for $6 in advance, 8 at the door. They can order them by calling 921-5678 or online through the website. The nice thing about the show is that each number tops the next, so we hope to see you there.
It's been great being here on the show with you again. You know more about Backstage now, and hopefully that'll tempt you to come and buy that ticket and make us part of your free time. Thanks again for being here. See you next month.